Guys, what is going on? This is going to be my first video on my YouTube channel. My name is Jamie. Um, Quick little get to the point. I'm going to be using this channel just to basically document my trading journey. So just show you guys the raw reality of starting from unprofitable to profitable. And as well as that, I'm just going to be posting gym content, life content, and just motivation for you guys. If you're someone also starting in trading, just trying to show the raw reality of starting from, I've had experience trading since I'm like 16, which is when I first got into it, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be using this channel for. A little bit about me and how I started as like an entrepreneur, basically you could say. 11th grade, me and my friends, we started getting into making money. Obviously, my friends started getting into drop shipping. My boy Justin, which made me get into it, my other friend get into it. But we bought this course from this guy, Carmine Rosado. So if you guys don't know him, definitely go check him out. Great content, great trader, and provides a ton of value on his social media platforms. But we bought this course, $400, split it each, $100 each. Greatest, most valuable $100 I probably ever spent. But basically what he trades, like the strategy, is order flow. So he uses order flow tools such as a heat map, footprint chart, depth of market, and volume profiles, just to basically spot out where price wants to trend to, trapped participants, where aggressive and passive participants are entering the market, and he uses that to kind of gauge his levels of interest, and where price wants to trend to. But I'm not going to be getting too much into trading this video. I just kind of wanted to show you guys a little bit about me, tell you guys how I started, and what led me to this point now. So what led me to this point, I guess you could say, is so as I said, I started in 11th grade. It's kind of hard to start trading when you're in high school, obviously, because you still have to go to school. So I did take it serious in high school. I was getting on every day, doing it in class, but it's really hard to make progress when obviously you're in class, you have all these distractions around you, and then even when it was summertime and I was trading, I played football in high school, so I had football camp from 8 to 11, and my only time to get on was basically by like 11:30, which it's obviously not optimal if you trade. That volume dies out by around like 10:30, not dies out, but 10:30, 11 is kind of now the time that I like to get off. So yeah, but you name it, we tried it. We were doing drop shipping, we resold AirPods, um, just anything we could to make money, basically. But what this led me to, and then in 11th grade, I also had like a detailing business that I started in the summer. Wasn't anything major, just a side hustle at that point. But I'm gonna be getting into. So then, I was actually reselling on eBay from summer to January, February of my senior year. I graduated 2024, so about a year and a half ago. But yeah, me and my friend were doing eBay reselling full time, basically just going to thrift stores, reselling items for a profit. And so that's kind of what I was doing for like 6 months before we started getting back into drop shipping heavily. My friend, he actually ended up blowing up a product. It was like he made like 17,000 profit off like those little magnets that take off the store tags. So he did that, and that showed me like, wow, this shit is really possible. And we're basically I'm just rolling through products and products, just trying to organic dropship. I never got one that really worked for me. I had sales, but I never got one that really blew up and took off like that one did for him. But that was January, February of senior year, and then that brings us to kind of when the weather starts warming up, and I still was doing detailing, so I was doing that on the side, making money. And we both basically just invested. I asked him if he wanted to invest with me into this marketing guy, well, this marketing agency, I guess you could say. But so we ended up doing it. We paid like 800 each with one of my other friends as well. That's he went to college, so he just didn't really have time for the business. But yeah, so we invest in this guy. It goes pretty well actually, and we start building momentum with this detailing business. We start detailing out of his mom's van basically, and just rolling and rolling and rolling. And I'm barely even going to school at this point because I'm just doing mobile jobs like day in and day out. So we ended up scaling that to the 15 to 17K mark by the summer, which was actually really impressive in only 6 or 7 months, obviously, and saving a lot of money. And then obviously wintertime detailing slows down, but we had taken all the capital we saved and basically bought a shop. So we had a shop in December of 2024, and then we're going into 2025. We had the shop, a wrapped van, a pretty big following at that point. Not big, but like almost 100 reviews on Google. Constant money coming in, etc. So, and then so that's what happened up to that point. We continue to scale, continue to work, continue to double down on ourselves, and we have the shop. We fully built it, floor, painted it, equipment, everything. Puts basically all of our money back into the business. I mean, that's obviously how you start a business and keep it going. Is you got to put money back in. So that brings us to the summertime, and we definitely did a good job of scaling it. We ended up going all the way to the 25,000 revenue per month mark, which was an accomplishment, but our expenses were also completely stacking up against what we were making, and we weren't really taking home that much. I would say we were saving the money for our set, like we were saving the money piled up together, but we weren't paying ourselves really, which I think honestly was a big problem. But my friend Justin, he basically just started to kind of get disinterested in it, which I don't blame him, because I was feeling the same way sometimes, but I did want to keep it going. But so that kind of led us to that moment. It was like, all right, I could tell he doesn't want to do this anymore. I was contemplating if I wanted to do it anymore, and we decided to sell it, that was July and August, the one that just passed. So we ended up selling it in August, and it was basically gave us back. The plan was to give us back a lot of our time, which we were working so much, like crazily. Like we had 2 full-time employees. I was out in the van every day. He would do the paint corrections and the bigger jobs in the shop, and it got so hectic, guys. It was like he did not want to do it anymore. I really was contemplating to buy him out and do it by myself. So it was like kind of like this back and forth of where I wanted to go with this business. But ultimately, I think it was definitely a good idea to get out of it. It didn't give me enough of my time to actually, literally, I would say it didn't give me enough of my time to make money, which I was making the most money I've ever seen. But it was like, I'm not taking home that money. I'm not actually being able to use that money in my life. So it was like, it was getting to the point where it was like, what is the point of all this, we sell it in August, which even the last few months were pretty rough. So the sale, I'm not even going to get too deep into it, but stuff ended up falling through with with these 2 buyers. It was a successful sale. We ended up selling it, but these 2 kids just ended up not signing the lease. They ran the shop for like a month or 2. They screwed us basically completely, which that was really hard to take in for us. They left us with basically a ran down business and a monthly lease payment, which we still like. It was just that was a crazy experience. I'm not going to get too much into that, but we ended up having to sell it again for a lower price, which was, it sucked, but at least we could finally get out of it. That happened in October. So brings us to October. I basically, started getting back into trading, getting on the markets, and I wanted to get into this too. So in the middle of all that, we were into crypto pretty heavily, just taking the business money that we were making, investing it, and holding, just on like high utility coins. But and then it comes to the summertime, I start getting into meme coins, which was like the same time we were doing detailing. But I started getting into this vicious cycle of just trying to get rich quick, guys. And if you know this feeling, and you've been through this, you know that it's just probably one of the worst things you can go through. There is not, any get rich quick scheme. You have to put your time, effort, dedication, and discipline into something if you want to make it work. So it's just, I ended up losing basically all of my money in meme coins. It was such a humbling experience and just crazy to even think about. But yeah, that happened basically the same time. That was like October. So I'm at this point where I basically have no money. I had to get a job. I started working at an airport, which was like a job my friend got me, which I'm still working at right now. But yeah, such a humbling experience. Lost all my money basically in crypto, and then had to get a job, work for it back. Finally started building up some savings, and just paper trading every day, trying to get my strategy down pat. Making a lot of progress trading actually. Just had my first week, above break even, so that was, really nice to experience. But yeah, and then I also wanted to start getting into just making content because, I think people would want to see it. I always made content for the detailing business, which I enjoyed, but it was like it only had to be about detailing. But now I kind of want this channel, and I'm also going to be posting on like Instagram and TikTok probably, just about the training journey, content for the gym, stuff like that. Trying to help you guys, and then eventually when I become profitable in trading, I'm trying to help other people also make money. So, but yeah, guys. So that's kind of what led me to this point. Little short introduction, or I guess I'm at 11 minutes now. But yeah, if you watch this, thank you for tuning in. I'm probably just gonna be posting my next videos. Maybe if there's some gym content or month or weekly trade recaps, daily trade recaps, stuff like that. I'll show you guys like my TradeZella quick. If you're still watching, thank you. But just my bad. This is my first time recording on my PC. Display. Okay. So wait. Oh yeah, you guys can see right here. All right. Yeah. So this is my TradeZella. I use all my trades to just track the data on here. But you can see this is December, the month of December. Basically at break even, and yeah, this was my first week in profit. You could see like the last month. Just kind of basically at that point where I'm just learning where I'm tending to make mistakes. This is all just a learning process for me. Obviously, if you know trading, it doesn't come overnight. But I just wanted to use these first 3-4 months where I've been getting on to gauge my weak points, my strong points, where I'm tending to make mistakes, where I'm tending to make my best trades, stuff like that. So I've definitely been making a ton of progress, which I'm happy about, and just want to kind of see some consistency. Yes, I just want to see some consistency before I actually start using my real capital. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at right now. Probably gonna paper trade for the next I'd say few weeks to another month until I could see consistent wins, what my average win rate is consistently, average win to loss, all the other basic factors that play into your profitability. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be my first video. I'm gonna wrap it up there at 13 minutes or 14 minutes. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know when my next video is gonna be. Probably sometime this week. I'm gonna kind of think about what I want to post. Probably trade recap or some gym content. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Have a blessed day, and God bless, guys. Thank you.